Good evening to all the respected senior members. Some dog is barking. To all the respected senior members of Cochin Ophthalmic Club, teachers, pioneers in the field of ophthalmology, this special webinar has been organized by the Cochin Ophthalmic Club to get to know the multifaceted personalities that the seniors in this club are. This idea was originally mooted by our secretary, Dr. Gopal, and then we worked on it, and then we took advice from Dr. R.R. Varma, and this is the final form of the webinar, which we have named as Life Lessons from the seniors in this club, pioneers in their own fields. So it is my very pleasant duty to welcome all the senior members of the club to this meeting and all the other members of the Cochin Ophthalmic Club who are joined and are already joining one by one. With these few words, I request our secretary, Dr. Gopal, to give a broad outline of the program that we are going to have today. And before that, I will just mention that we have 8 seniors in the club with whom we are talking today, starting from Dr. Tony Fernandez sir, Dr. Radha Krishnan, Dr. N.S.T. Raju, Dr. Lalita Susan Thomas, Dr. Ittira sir, Dr. Narayan Kuti, Dr. P.I. Mohan, and Dr. T. Alexander. So these, not exactly in the order of the interview, but these are the seniors that we are honoring today. And Dr. Gopal, I request you to please take over the proceedings.
Thank you very much, sir. Respected seniors, senior superstars, as well as all the senior members of the KSOS as well as Cochin Ophthalmic Club. While we have all been affected right from March through COVID, we had an initial vacuum for about 2 weeks. And very rapidly, we picked up with the COVID webinars. And then, to follow up with national conferences like the Ophthalmology Reboot and AstraZeneca. And then we continued with the Super Sundays on cornea and glaucoma. And now next we will be conducting the suturing workshop. However, we realized that in the pursuit of academics, we were missing the human links because we were all in Zoom and then in YouTube, and there was no interaction happening. And that is a dearth of dearth of camaraderie which we had. And then Dr. Sai and myself had spoken over it, and we were thinking about some offbeat non-academic programs, about 3 or 4 in number. And this was one of the gems that we had thought about. With a cumulative experience of about 350 man-years between them, these 8 gems of Cochin Ophthalmic Club, the seniors, have done it all, they have seen it all, they have experienced the highs and lows of life and work, the agony and ecstasy. Who better to talk to us on work, life, success, failures, ill health, and all these stuff, and to give direction to the young ophthalmologists in the state and even beyond. Dr. Sai Kumar, our president, and Dr. Varmaji, our Guruji, they will be the people who will be asking, they will be the people who will be interviewing our senior superstars and extracting the life lessons out of these great luminaries in our field. Over to you, Sai sir and Varmaji. Before that, I think we should have an introduction of for the benefit of all the younger people who are joined in from YouTube. I think we should introduce all the seniors. And I think we can start with Elizabeth, madam. I will just share my screen. I'll just share my screen.
Gopal, please check whether Elizabeth madam has a PowerPoint presentation.
No. Nobody has a PowerPoint presentation.
Fine.
Is my screen visible? Yeah.
Yes.
Elizabeth madam, please.
You need to make it, yeah, that's now.
We are looking at a 2-minute introduction. Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, madam. You are very much audible.
Yes. Okay, welcome. Good evening, one and all. Padma Shri Dr. Tony Fernandez, lovingly addressed by all of us as Tony sir, needs no introduction to this audience. Yet, for the sake of formality, a few words. After his professional training in England, Tony sir first joined Madurai Medical College. And in a year's time, he left Madurai and joined Little Flower Hospital, the small town of Angamale. From a 5-bedded clinic, he developed the ophthalmic department at LF to a 200-bedded ophthalmic institute with all the subspecialties, the first of its kind in the whole of Kerala. He established the first eye bank in the private sector in India at LF in 1970. He pioneered many ophthalmic surgeries, including intraocular lens implantation, cornea transplantation, strabismus, glaucoma surgeries, and the refractive surgery, to name a few. He conducted free eye camps throughout the length and breadth of Kerala and made ophthalmic surgery accessible to the poor as well. He has given the gift of sight to tens and thousands of people. And his surgeries are like work of art bearing his signature as the perfect blend of art and science with the best possible clinical outcome. He's a very hardworking person, God-fearing, very broad-minded teacher. He was the editor of Indian Journal of Ophthalmology, the president of AAOS, executive member of ICMR. He was honored by Padma Shri by the President of India and BC Roy Award by the Medical Council of India. He is a chevalier. There are many awards which are left without mentioning due to lack of time. I'm given just 2 minutes to introduce such a giant person. He started his own hospital in Alva in 2008, which is very well established now, and is under the leadership of Dr. Freddy, the worthy son of the worthy father. He is actively involved in social work, the Periyar Club, the Kerala Action Force, Pain and Palliative Clinics, Darshana Eye Bank, all are examples. Tony sir has shaped and trained the careers of many ophthalmologists, including me. And I am extremely lucky to have been trained by sir, and I'm extremely thankful to sir for this. He is happily married to Dr. Yvonne Fernandez. Madam is a very renowned anesthetist who has headed the Department of Anesthesia at LF Hospital for nearly 3 decades. He has 5 all are brilliant and well placed. We wish you, sir, many more years of health and happiness. Thank you very much.
Mahesh.
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 Thank you, Gopal. I will ask few questions. Who was the third Shankaramanan Award winner of KSOS, you know? Who was the second Noel Moniz Memorial Oration awardee? Or who was the 8th president of KSOS? There is only one man who can answer all this. That is our dear Radhakrishnan sir, otherwise known as Protocol Radhakrishnan sir. Because he is the person who has done the bylaw of KSOS, who has done lot of work to help the KSOS streamline its work, its activities. He has even now any doubt regarding the administration of KSOS or COC, we can call only one man, that is Radhakrishnan sir. Because even last week I had a problem in KSOS administration, so the only person I can ask is Radhakrishnan sir. He is the man who has contributed to the development of all these intricacies of association and society, and nobody can forget his contribution to this. And the other aspect is a fatherly figure to all of us. My father, Gopal's father, Ashok's father, all were contemporaries of Radhakrishnan sir, and so we I don't know what to say, but nothing more than that. Radhakrishnan sir is our last answer to any technical or uh, uh, problems in KSOS or COC. Nothing else. That's a summary that I can give about him, sir. Gopal.
Dr. Leena.
Leena Pilla madam. Leena Pilla madam.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
we can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, friends. Today I'm honored to be introducing the legend in our midst, Dr. NSD Raju, Dr. Narayana Shivadasa Raju. That's the full form. NSD sir, as he is fondly known, is one of the senior most and eminent ophthalmologists of great repute in the country. He took his MBBS and MS ophthalmology from the University of Kerala, after which he did a short-term fellowship in medical retina from University of Wisconsin and an anterior segment fellowship from Tokyo, Japan. He joined the health service as an assistant surgeon in 1977. He's currently the medical director of NSD Raju Eye Hospital, the erstwhile Ranjini Eye Hospital in Kochi. He is one of the first IOL surgeons in the country and published his first series of IOL implantations way back in 1981 at both national and international conference. He is also an accomplished phacosurgeon. He is a pioneer in ocular anesthesia too. He introduced and popularized peribulbar and carbuncular anesthesia in India 30 years ago, and also one of the early uses of topical anesthesia for phaco and manual SICS. Dr. Raju's contribution to AIOS and in Indian ophthalmology has been quite phenomenal. He became a life member of AIOS in 1979 and ever since has been an active member in all academic, organizational, and social activities of AIOS. He has been the managing committee member, the member of scientific committee, editor proceedings, consultant editor IJO, member of ethics committee, vice president of AIOS. These are the various posts he held before being elected as the president of the AIOS in 2012, a very prestigious post. During his tenure as president, some of his major achievements were setting AIOS resource centers at state, regional, and later even international conferences. Due to his active participation, active membership campaigns, the number of memberships in AIOS rose phenomenally during his tenure. The PPS scheme of AIOS was also started in collaboration with IMA for the AIOS members. Establishing an international chapter of AIOS was another of his achievements. On a final note, he is a fascinating individual, and we are grateful for his presence in today's talk. Without further ado, please join me in congratulating and welcoming Dr. Raju. Thank you. Dr. Gopal.
Thomas.
Good evening, seniors. Can you hear me? Yeah. Good evening, seniors and my dear friends. I'm very honored and happy to introduce Dr. Lilita Susan Thomas, senior member of Cochin Ophthalmic Club and KSOS. Dr. Lilita Susan grew up in Chennai and completed MBBS from Christian Medical College, Vellore in 1968, and subsequently PG in ophthalmology from Kasturba Medical College, Mangalore and Manipal. Her academic achievements started right then when she secured the first rank in the University of Mysore during her post-graduation. She set up practice in West Kochi from 1974 and was a visiting consultant to many of the hospitals in West Kochi, Jacob Nursing Home, Gautam Nursing Home, and also my father's hospital. My father ran a hospital in Kochi and she was a visiting consultant there. My father particularly mentions a meticulous nature in surgery and in an OP examination. He particularly said that even the post-op dressings, she would remove herself and not entrust that to any other staff. During this time, I remember she prescribed to me my first glasses as a fifth standard student, and I partly owe my career in ophthalmology to Madam. She's a person who lets her actions speak rather than words. She was the president of IMA West Kochi 1998 to 1999. And this year, she was awarded the Best Doctor Award by IMA West Kochi, a fact which I actually obtained from her husband rather than from her, because she would rather just keep quiet about it. With these few words, I introduce Dr. Lalitha Susan Thomas, and we look forward to your enlightening talk. Thank you.
Suchitra? Dr. Suchitra?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, Suchitra, go ahead.
Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
It's a great
Yes.
privilege to introduce Dr. K. Narayan,
Suchitra, I think your
the
Wi-Fi is
senior
not very
ophthalmic
strong. Yeah.
surgeon and my mentor. A native of Thrissur, did MBBS from Calicut Medical College, PG from Trivandrum Medical College. Career mostly at Ernakulam GH. Was deputed to Little Flower Angamali. He was deputed to Little Flower Angamali for 5 years at the behest of Dr. Tony Fernandez. From there, he was sent to Dr. Badrinath Chennai and also AIMS for training. In return, he did professional retinal unit at Angamali. He was supposed to go for their training, but he chose to stay back with his ailing father. Dr. K states that his achievement was to perform lateral orbitotomy at GH. In return, he started a professional when no one else was doing it. He is one of the lead members of KSOS, Dr. Thomas and Dr. E. Innovative for built an operating microscope 1990 using bench microscopes and car headlights as a source of image. Used microscope for 5 years. Moreover, another innovation from Dr. K was supposed to go to the US K himself. He is a past president of KOC and Cochin. At present, he is managing director and senior consultant at Media Center, Little Flower Hospital, Angamai. He is also son of IMA Blood Bank. But Dr. K's life beyond ophthalmology is as interesting as his life. Accomplished ophthalmic surgeon. Learned magic at the age of 50 as part of Freemasonry. Yoga at 55. Music at 72 years. A fitness buff who is always seen with his Fitbit tied around the wrist. Founder, president, first organization to teach people on personality development. His spouse is Dr. Rafi Menon. She is retired from Portrust Hospital. He has a son. He is one of the 3 living found and daughter sunset abroad. Gentlemen, introducing one and only Dr. KMK. Thank you.
Yeah. Andrew, sir.
Good evening. Is it audible?
Yes, yes, very much.
I am honored to say a few words about my mentor and well-wisher, Dr. T.P. Itteja, or commonly called as Dr. TPA. I was lucky to work with this dynamic, versatile fan ophthalmologist for 17 years at LF Hospital, Angamali. I am sure there's no need to introduce Dr. TPA to COC or KSOS family members, but these words are only for the junior doctors. Dr. TP is a native of Kunnangalam, now settled at Angamali. Graduated from ED Medical College, Alapi, PG from Benares Hindu University, Varanasi, and MPhil in Hospital Management from Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani. After his retina fellowship under Dr. S.S. Badrinath at Sangarnatralaya, Madras in 1975, he has joined with Dr. Tony Fernandez at Little Flower Hospital, Angamali, and started the vitreoretinal unit along with Dr. K.E. Epen, the first retina unit with laser therapy here in India. and he became the HOD of the department in 1990. Dr. TP is an all-rounder ophthalmic surgeon doing anterior and posterior segment surgeries like oculoplasty, orbitotomy, squint keratoplasty, glaucoma, cataract, and all type of vitreoretinal surgery. Academic activities. He is a great academician, faculty and examiner for MS Ophthalmology, DNB, Optometry, Hospital Management courses, and member Board of Studies, Cochin and MG University, Kottayam, and a visiting professor of KMC, Manipal. Organization level, he was an editor of Kerala Medical Journal, KJO, and president of KSOS in 1998. At All India level, he is the managing member of All India Ophthalmic Society, editor of Indian Journal of Ophthalmology, organization secretary and chairman of various conferences of KSOS, All India Ophthalmic Society, VRSI, which was held in Kerala. Dr. Itira was the secretary and later chairman of the iBank Association of Kerala, Angamali, which was started by Tony Sir, and they popularized the eye donation motivation program with the help of social and religious organizations. Various awards. Night of the Blind Award by Lions International, Best Rotarian Award for Control of Blindness, Best President of the Weismans International, IMA Madhya Kerala Doctors Day Award of Honor. He has been honored with Lifetime Achievement Award by All India Ophthalmic Society, KSOS, and COC. Oration Awards. Apart from the prestigious T.K. Alexander Memorial Oration of KSOS, he also received Oration Award of TACO, State Ophthalmic Societies of Gujarat, Karnataka, SROC, and VRSI. Family. Sir has been blessed with 2 daughters, son Dr. Peter, our COC member, and 5 grandchildren. At present, Sir is working as Senior Consultant of LF Hospital, Angamali, Tony Fernandez, Super Specialty Eye Institute, Alua, Guest Faculty of DMB Program at Medical Trust Hospital, Cochin, and Emeritus Editor of IJO since 2017. So, dear ladies and gentlemen, I present before you our great friend, a tall, handsome superstar of ophthalmology, and above all, a Pakka gentleman who is none other than Dr. Tholat Peter Itera.
Thank you, sir. Gopal,
Yeah.
Alexander, sir. Yeah. Danya. Unmute yourself, Danya, please. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Danya. We can't hear you.
Okay, now?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Fine, fine.
Yes.
Okay. A warm good evening to all. First of all, I thank Cochin Ophthalmic Club for giving me this opportunity. It is with immense pleasure and honor I'm here to introduce Dr. T. Alexander to this august occasion. Having known him for the last 20 years and worked with him for a few years as his junior, it's my privilege to speak about this great man. For me, he is my mentor, and so will be for many juniors who has worked with him. Dr. Alexander completed his graduation and post-graduation from the most reputed and prestigious medical schools in India. He did his MBBS from AFMC Pune, DO from CMC Vellore, MD from All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Delhi. After MD, he joined as lecturer in CMC Vellore and underwent vitreoretinal fellowship from University of Sydney. He came back to CMC Vellore and continued working as head of the department and professor till 1989. For personal reasons, he had to shift back to Kerala. He joined Ozanam Eye Clinic, Kollam, as head of the department and continued there till 1998. Later, he started a clinic of his own, Alexander Eye Clinic and Research Center in Kochi, the most sought-after place then. He joined as professor and HOD in MIC Medical College, Kolanjeri, and continued his service till 2019, and is now continuing as director of Alexander Eye Clinic. Awards and accomplishments: AF Ebenezer Prize for the best DO student from Madras University, best outgoing student from AIMS 1979, has won Shankar Menon Medal from KSOS in 1985, Publications, he has around 20 to 25 publications in the national and international journals. Positions and contributions in KSOS. He is the first scientific committee chairman of KSOS, president of KSOS in the year 2006, first fellow to start intraocular lens in Tamil Nadu in 1983, and first PACO workshop in Kerala in Kollam in 1992. He was the executive committee member in KSOS for many years. He is a life member of KSOS, presented papers in Asia Pacific many times. Donations: Alexander Memorial Oration for KSOS, Gold Medal for the best outgoing student in MOS Medical College since 4 years, and initiated the blind enrollment funds in COC. About his personal life, he is a very committed man to his profession as well as his family. He is married to Mrs. Susie Alexander and is blessed with a daughter and 2 grandchildren. I know him as a doting husband and a doting father. His passion and energy for life seems no bounds. He has shown immense care and concern to the staff in the clinic and considered them as an extended family. I would say he has enjoyed his life tremendously along with his excellent career. A fond traveler and a globetrotter, he has visited 30 to 40 countries so far, few of them many times too. Altogether, he is a package of success. Friends and seniors, it's my great privilege to introduce to you a man of stature, a man of dedication, and a man of compassion. On behalf of all gathered here, I welcome you, sir, to this great event. Thank you.
Thank you, Danya. That was a nice introduction. Yeah.
Shashi, sir.
Mohan, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. I started hearing the name of Dr. Poothakudiyil Aip Mohan in the early 90s when he was the editor of the Journal of KSOS. I never had an occasion to work with him professionally. My association with him started during my first entry into the KSOS Executive Committee 20 years back as the editor of KJO in 2000-2001. Dr. Radhakrishnan and Dr. P.A. Mohan were my presidents, and both of them remain dynamic in KSOS activities even now. Dr. Mohan took his post-graduation in ophthalmology from the Kasturba Medical College, Manipal, and Dr. Babu Rajendran was his senior. He later headed the Department of Ophthalmology in MOSC Medical Mission Hospital, Kolancheri, and his area of interest was cataract and oculoplasty. What I found unique in him is the attention he pays to details, which is evident in any task he takes up, be it a scientific presentation or implementation of a project. He studies the subject in detail, delegates duties to his co-workers and supervisors regularly. In fact, this trait had enabled him to successfully start eye hospitals in Karyambadi, Wayanad, and HRM, Andhra Pradesh. His entrepreneurship was not to make profit, but to start charitable hospitals. He has also worked in Mission Hospital, Parimala, and St. James Hospital, Kanjirapalli. He was also the medical superintendent of Muthoot Hospital, Pathanamthitta. He is one of the very few past presidents of KSOS who still finds joy in associating with the activities of KSOS. He is part of the Internal Audit Committee of KSOS since its inception and is the chairman of the Vision Enhancement Clinics of KSOS. He surprised all of us last year when he volunteered to be with us to take an arduous road journey to Madurai as our team leader in the strategic planning workshop for personnel for low vision clinics. He had a major vascular surgery a few years back and had every reason to skip that journey, but still he came with us. Unlike many others, he has never turned down our request to involve in any KSOS activities, and he would be there with amazing commitment and enthusiasm. I have never seen him wavering in taking a decision. This proactive involvement is his strategy to ward off dreaded accompaniments of senility. We are seeing people who are old even in their 30s and 40s. At the same time, there are people like Dr. Mohan who are still young in their 70s. Sir, you have shown that age is just a number for you. So continue to live your life and forget your age. I take this opportunity to wish him, Ramani Madam, his daughters Sangeeta and Sweeta, who are frontline corona warriors in microbiology and anesthesia, and all other family members, good health and happiness. My dear sir, be there as always as a beacon of light to guide all of us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shashi. So we'll go on to the actual.
Yeah, now we'll all go on to the actual program.
Yeah. Varmaji,
Yes.
can we start
Sure.
Yes. Please take over, sir.
Okay. First, we will have Dr. Tony Fernandez talk to us. Dr. Tony Fernandez has defined the past of ophthalmology in Kerala and has designed the future of ophthalmology in Kerala. I personally associate him with all sorts of beginnings. He began a small hospital in a small department, in a small hospital in a small town, built it up to be one of the icons of ophthalmology in South India, then started his own hospital at an age when many of us would be thinking of folding our tents. Then again, he was the person who was behind the first eye bank in Kerala, the first laser center in Kerala, the Periyar Club, of course, not to mention the KSOIs. He was one of the founder members of Cochin Ophthalmic Club, the Cochin Action Force. I lost count of the number of things he was the starting point of. He always worked from the 0 point, from the very bottom up and build everything up. Sir, we would like you to talk to us how you just see things from the very bottom and go up, the challenges, the motivation, the way you go about it. Dr. Tony, please.
My senior colleagues and my junior colleagues, friends, at this 86 years of my age, I've got a little problem of memory. So I could say this, I'm still 86 years young. I would like to just share with you a little thought that I have written down here. I was a restless young man of 35 years with a great dream of creating a center of excellence. Landed at Angamali, a remote village in a poor mission hospital. When I told about my dream to the director of the Lateral Hospital then, he smiled and told me, please join us and God will definitely help. The challenges was insurmountable with no financial backing, even to buy a state lab. Somehow, he finally agreed to buy a state lab, and I chose the best, the first Hack Street state lab. They took a loan and with an assurance that I will give it back. Determination, it was God's grace, hard work, and my determination to succeed against all odds that led me to these achievements. I owe to all my colleagues. Some of them are here, who are all over the world and even parts of Kerala. Who worked with me for many years. I remember and thank them for the unstinting sacrifices they made with me to achieve a successful story, if you can call it. We all work with such a sense of unity and understanding that made the other departments jealous of us. I hope you can hear me. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are very much audible, sir.
like a young Turk, tried to change the old concepts in the management and surgical techniques that was prevailing at that time. In spite of the opposition from many old colleagues of that time, we took the criticism with the challenge and worked hard to achieve excellence. My advice to the young people is this: think differently, dream high, innovate, and better your techniques. Publish and present your work whenever it is possible and wherever it is possible. Nothing can be achieved without hard work, which calls for great of sacrifices. Well, this is my opinion that I thank every one of you for inviting me and honoring me. It's a great honor to be with my colleagues with whom I have worked for many, many conferences, many projects that undertook, especially the media. I would like to say my time is over. See, when I wanted to start the refractive surgery, I went to the director and said, we need about 2.5 crores of rupees to purchase the instruments. They said no, and Mission Hospital like us cannot afford. Then I contacted many of my colleagues, many of them are here. Why not we start a private limited company? A lot of them, all of them, 48 of them, Dr. Narayanan could even remember exact number, came forward. Even from Trivandrum, some of the doctors joined us. And you know, media is a success story. I've also started another company years ago with the help of my colleagues, which is not there. It was a very great failure. It was producing glasses and contact lenses. That also I tried, but finally it was purchased by some other companies, and I could give back some money that my colleagues offered. In anything, I had the courage. Some of us had the courage to start new things. And some of them, all of them may not be a success. Some of them have been success. And I feel that if the doctors join together, they can bring out wonderful new ideas, instruments, and some very good innovations. Thank you for all your patience here. Any questions, Dr. Ara?
Sir, I really wish we had a full session dedicated to you, but unfortunately, it just cannot be. I mean, it's so nice of you to give credit to your associates, but we know you are the motivating force behind all that, because I was associated with the media and I know how hard you worked. I mean, much more than younger people like me. It's just wonderful knowing you, sir. My pranams.
Thank you all.
Gopal.
Thank you very much, sir. And now it is my very pleasant privilege to ask a few questions to none other than Dr. Who, as Mahesh said, is a very brotherly, most of us here. But I would just like to mention one or two words which I think Mahesh did not mention in the introduction. Dr. Radhakrishnan did his MBBS, and I'm given to understand that he was along with his academics, he was also a very avid sportsman. And he was part of the cricket team, the hockey team, and things like that. And he later on did his DO from Guru Nanak University in Delhi. And he had a very long stint in the Kerala government service. Like Dr. Varmaji has mentioned many times, those were the times when the government service was lacking in lot of facilities. And even with those, I think Radhakrishnan sir had, did a lot of innovations and a lot of things. I request Dr. Radhakrishnan sir to career, sir, your experiences in the government service and how you were able to overcome the challenges in the government, specialty like ophthalmology, which was not being given much prominence those days. Radhakrishnan sir, please unmute yourself, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh. Good evening, everybody. Actually, I joined Trivandrum Medical College in 1962 and was a tutor in forensic medicine in 1968. Then I left medical college service and joined health service in 1969 and retired in 1999. From the next year onwards, I was in private practice, joining some local hospitals in Alway. Later on, I joined the group practice in Chaitanya Hospital. And since 4 years, along with Dr. Shashi, Dr. Thomas Cherian, and Dr. Jayapras, we are running a hospital in Alway, Kochi Eye Care Center. I had about, you can say, 52 years as a doctor and about 45 years as an ophthalmologist. And my first posting was in Perumbavoor. That was Minister Balakrishnan side of having ophthalmic, ENT, and pediatric units in all Taluk quarters hospitals. When I joined Perumbavoor, there was hardly anything, no room, no facilities, no equipments, nothing. And when I inquired in DHS office, they said that they cannot buy individually. So for all the hospitals will be getting the necessary instruments later together. Then after consulting some seniors, I used the All India Ophthalmic Society meetings to buy instruments on my own. Otherwise, I would have been just sitting there and doing general practice. And in this way, Dr. Sota, who was my teacher in Maulana Medical College, he helped me in buying the slit lamp and keratometer. He was a consultant to Jaggi then, so I bought the Jaggi instruments. I think many of the seniors may know about Jaggi. Their service is very poor, so I had to later on change the equipments later much. Then, with the help of Dr. E.T. Kuriakas, who was the DMO in Ernakulam, I could get a cryo machine so that we could do cryosurgery. At that time, ICC with cryo was the latest in cataract. So at that time, only general hospital, I think, no other Taluk district hospital had cryo. Perumbavoor was the only center which had cryo. That was with the help of cryo. And Mr. Sugumar of ASCON, he gave 3 quotations so that government rules you had to obey. It's everywhere. It's like that. I have worked in Irinjalakuda, Kodungalur, Vadakanjeri, and others, and everywhere. The first thing government supplied was the Baliwala's cautery and electrolysis machine for the Taluk quarters. Before they supplied ophthalmoscope and other instruments, etc. And many of the places when I went there, it was not being used. Hospitals, I had to bring it from the store. So one thing I am rather proud, you can say that I turned my unit into a workable unit when I left each unit. From my own pocket as well as with the help of the my seniors, I could buy and keep equipments in the hospitals.
For that brief introduction into your, government service experiences. Now, another important area that I would like to touch on you is, like Mahesh said, your deep involvement in the organizational activities, whether it is KSOS, whether it is IMA, whether it is blood bank, whether it is the Swaralaya music academy in Aluva. So your deep involvement in organizational activities, I think you are a beacon of light for many of us. And what we have noticed in KSOS and in COC of late is that many of the youngsters of the generation below us are very reluctant to take up organizational posts. What would be your advice? What would be your inspiration to the younger generation? Because every organization to survive, you need people in leadership. So what please advise the younger generation as to how to go ahead, what inspiration you should take from you?
Maybe it was in my involvement in sports from school to college. So I used to have like company and being part of a group. And immediately when I joined Trivandrum Medical College tutor, I joined KGM CTA and IMA in 1968. When I went to state service, I joined KGMO in 1969. And for a brief time, I was a treasurer of KGMO in Trivandrum. I've been very active. My association was started with KGMOA. I was president of KGMOA Ernakulam district for 2 years consecutively in a very trying time when the government medical officers were fighting against the government hemmed by Vakkam Purushothaman, the minister at that time. We had a lot of difficulties. So I actually then the first government strike of doctors was conducted during the 80s, and all the leaders were put in jail also for some time. One day, I think, and our salary was cut for one day. So that was an experience. Then all the leaders from districts were transferred to other districts. I was transferred from Ernakulam to Paripalli. Dr. Gopalesha from transferred our Jayanandan from Koilon to Irinjalakuda. All the leaders were inter-district transfers again to disrupt the function of the organizations. Now, another thing, as I was joint secretary of KGMI for 2 years in 1983 and 84. I toured most of the state at that time for promoting life membership in KGMOA, as well as constructing a headquarters building in Trivandrum. At that time, the president was Dr. P. Tichere and secretary was Dr. Sukumara Pillai. Sukumara Pillai and myself stood guarantee to buy the plot. The plot was held by an old lady. We couldn't raise the money immediately. So we stood guarantee for that. Then we toured all over the state and collected the money, and we could buy that plot. Now we have a multi-story building there for KGMOA. And I am lucky to have been involved in buildings. At Trivandrum IMA building, I have contributed. The Madhya Kerala IMA building, I have been. When I was the secretary of Madhya Kerala IMA, the ground floor was inaugurated. When I was the president, the first floor was inaugurated. So I think I've been lucky to be involved in those things. And as far as IMA is concerned, I was able to found a branch, the Vadakkancheri Thalapalli branch. When I went to Vadakkancheri, the government or private doctors had no interaction. So then I talked to the Trichur office bearers and the state office bearer, and they said if the Trichur branch is agreeable, then you can start a branch. Then I contacted all the people through sending letters, and we started the branch in 1998, I think. And recently, I was lucky to be honored by the Vadakanjeri branch as one of the founders of that branch. Then iBanks. Many of you, Narayanankutti may be knowing that along with Rotary and IMA Cochin, we tried to start an iBank in Cochin, the Nayana iBank. Narayanankutti, myself, and David Akara and Venugopal, the IMA president, Ramachandran Nair, Rotary president, we were the mining committee members. We were started in a small way in KPI, Matthews Clinic. We appointed a technician, but somehow we couldn't carry on with it for a long time. But circumstances forced me to join actively in another iBank. I was the founder president of the Darshana iBank, which is headquartered in Tony's Eye Hospital. Our secretary is Dr. Freddie Simon. And we, along with the help of the local people, Residents Association, the Action Committee, and local public, that Darshana iBank has been now very active and a very one of the, as far as collection is concerned, the second biggest iBank in Kerala now. So I'm really happy that Dr. Tony Fernandez gave me the chance to be the founder president and carry on the work. And I think I should thank the technician also, Thangachan. He's a very dedicated person. That's why we could go along with that. Then I was lucky to start a blood bank along with IMA, with the government. When I was in government hospital, I was the deputy superintendent there, and I was a Mathiyala president also at that time. When we found out that the blood bank at that time was a single room with 8 to 1 p.m. only collection was done. There was, you all know, after the AIDS, after the order from the Supreme Court, the All India government included blood as a drug, and they had made statutory orders that the collection, the storage, the distribution, everything has been done following certain rules under the control of the Drugs Control of India as well as the State Drugs Controller. So their specification was that there should have been enough room, enough technicians, should be facilities for enough testing on syphilis, malaria, HIV, CV, etc. So, I had to struggle actually to get my IMA, my branch to accept this idea, because they were all reluctant to start with, because there would be so many consumer cases and they had to have so many investment. But somehow or other I could persuade my branch, and I could also get approval from the municipal chairman, the DMO and the government issued an order constituting an authority where 4 members of IMA and 4 members from the Hospital Development Committee were included in the committee that to administer the blood bank without any financial constraints from the government. So we had to beg and around to collect an amount, just construct a building and start the. We toured Ernakulam, Tricur, Alappuzha, and many places to make people aware, because we had to face a strong challenge from a very strong IMA blood bank in Cochin that is actually headed by Narayanankutti. Here I had to thank Narayanankutti because he trained my technician as well as the blood bank and vehicle officer. Then only we could start that.
Thank you so much, sir.
It's in Kerala. It's a regional blood transfusion center. It is, it has the first training center for doctors and technicians for blood bank. And it was first a component unit in government sector. And we have won so many awards. So I think even if I am not there, this is, I think, will be something I left behind. I'm very happy about it. And as far as COC and KSOC is concerned, I've been from the very beginning. I have been there. Somehow that I like attending people, meeting people, COC actually it was formed mainly to organize the 1984 conference. When it was awarded, there was no such no congregation of ophthalmologists. So Dr. Tony actually then it was not awarded to a state or a ophthalmic club. It was awarded to an organizing secretary. So Dr. Tony Fernandez and Dr. Govindan were made the organizing secretaries. It was awarded to them, and they decided that the ideal place would be Ernakulam. Only the one constraint was there were very few ophthalmologists, and there were no medical colleges at that time, and that was a great experience organizing that. Actually, we did that in St. Teresa's as well as St. Teresa's College as well as the Sarita Sangeeta Theatre Complex, and I was one of the in charge of the venues. Two shows. After the show, they will give the theater to us. Then we'll have to arrange the tables, everything, and it was a 70 mm screen. So then we had to have a almost like a staircase-like thing to put those on side. Then it was those were the time of the slides and the projectors, etc. So that was a great experience. And
Thank you.
1999.
Thank you very much, sir. Can we, can you please sum up? I just want one line of advice from you to all the juniors, and your thought and activities are not being taken up in a big way like your generation.
I think the younger generation are very busy. I think maybe they are more intelligent than us. But I think joining together and doing something is a great experience. That is something for you to remember. I've been lucky that I had my seniors helped me in actually running the KSOS. Actually, I was the one to issue the identity cards and have a proper minutes and other registers. I could the Shankaraman Memorial Award was started by V. Shankar, the fourth president. The first recipient was the professor of Kottayam Medical College. Now he's in Calicut, Venkatachalam, on glaucoma. That time, the one gold medal was handed over by the Shankaran. Later on, there was many of the awardees were not given the medals. Actually, when I took over, I gave the medal to Dr. Babu Rai and then Dr. T. Alexander, Dr. and K.E. and they were the previous winners. I had to send them the medal, and I made the different criteria for that. And Shivareddy Award I could manage with the help of Dr. Shivareddy. I told him that we are going to have another award, and if somebody contributes 10,000 rupees, we will have that one. They immediately gave me 5,000 rupees and sent me a check later, so that the Shivareddy Award was. Dr. Alexander is I'm happy that I could persuade him to start the first oration. I talked to many people, and he was only one who responded, so that we could have the Alexander Memorial oration. I wanted to respect the seniors also. So I gave the CE Women Memorial Lifetime Achievement Award to many seniors. The first was Dr. Professor Subramaniam, then Dr. Tony Fernandez, Dr. E.T. Kuriakos, Dr. Govinatha Menon, Dr. Prabhakar, and Dr. Krishnankuti. They were given Lifetime Achievement Award. But somehow or other, after some time, it was not done. But then again, I think when Sai was the secretary of KSOS, he renewed, and I was lucky enough to get that award also, that Lifetime Achievement Award. So I'm thankful.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm sorry that I'm intervening. Thank you so much. Like Mahesh said, you are a virtual encyclopedia. Yeah.
I was lucky also to have written the new constitution and give the first ID cards, both the ordinary ID card as well as the photo ID card. So I am lucky.
Thank you.
And youngsters, I think the seniors should mentor. Each senior should mentor a junior. Then we'll have a lot of juniors trying to step. I think almost all of us have come up because some senior has mentored us. I think each of you can mentor at least one person.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for that fantastic piece of advice. Like Mahesh said, sir is a virtual encyclopedia of COC, and we can go on, talking to him for hours together. But due to paucity of time, I'm really
And
sorry that
August
I'm
Ophthalmic, I have to
interrupting.
say that in memory of Dr. Gobsan, I could start August Ophthalmica. Actually, it was a separate thing with Dr. Varma as the organizing secretary and Dr. Nayanagudi as chairman. We in 2000 to 2000 it was conducted separately, but from 2004 onward it was part of COC. That
Thank
was
you,
the
sir.
amount collected from the Munnar conference where I took over.
And we are happy that we are having August Ophthalmica this time as a virtual meeting, and we'll be coming up very soon with the details. Varmaji, please take over and start with Dr. Raju.
Thank you, Sai. Dr. Raju and myself go back a very long way. The obvious question everybody would expect, including Dr. Raju, would expect to be asked would be about his music. But since Dr. Radhakrishnan talked about mentoring, I think I'll ask him something about that. I don't know if many of you have noticed, or even Dr. Raju has noticed, many of his erstwhile assistants have gone on to become very prominent consultants in and around Ernakulam. Not to mention his own children, whom he has brought up to be very, very brilliant ophthalmologists. I don't know whether he's doing it consciously, this tutoring, this teaching, this mentoring. I would like to ask Dr. Raju how he managed to impart this sort of impetuous, this sort of qualities to his assistants so that they come up this well. Please, Dr. Raju.
Please unmute yourself.
Guys, sir, your mute is on.
Sir, please unmute yourself.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. RR, for that nice introduction, and also the pertinent question that you have put across to me. I think I must, before answering that question, I thought I will congratulate the team COC for initiating this novel idea, and also that this is the beginning of a series of such innovative initiatives. I must congratulate once again the COC team for the enthusiasm and the enterprising president and the secretary for organizing such a series of very important professional and even non-professional ones like this. Now, Dr. RR has put across a very pertinent question across to me. I won't say that it's an embarrassing question because that involves my son and daughter, and also so many of them who I had the opportunity to train and be the mentor. You know that most of the young ophthalmologists on acquiring their degree or the graduation, post-graduation, then aspire to become a more seasoned ophthalmologist and would like to take up a specialty so that they become, they could enhance their surgical and also their medical knowledge of treatment of ophthalmic conditions. So they have to become seasoned ophthalmologists. So they become very confident of operating, conducting the operations and also treating the patients efficiently and successfully. And for that, they have to join for, what's called as the fellowships, that take up some super specialties. And if you look at the training facilities available in India, in our country right now, across the country, when there are three categories of these institutions. You have the very prominent and premier institutions, the ophthalmic institutions like the All India AIMS and similar LVP, Sankara, and institutions like that, both governmental and non-governmental. And then there are other institutions which are corporate bodies like things. They're also well structured and they have a structured curriculum for the trainees. So those students and young ophthalmologists who have an opportunity to be trained and mentored by experienced ophthalmologists, they are lucky in the sense that they get the maximum, most wonderful way of training, not only in the clinical side, but on the non-clinical side as well, as the patient-doctor relationships, the medical legal aspects, the community ophthalmology, the management, administrative, and all those training, because the training of a doctor, especially an ophthalmologist, needs not just the clinical one, but it has to be tailored to a full-fledged comprehensive ophthalmologist who is competent to deal with any situation during his practice. Now, the third one, I said about the first and the second type of the institutions that we have. The third one is the medium type, where people like us work. And there also, the problem is we don't have a structured curriculum for these trainees. So there are variations also. So it is not a very stable or a uniform pattern that we have. So let us now take, when they take up the specialty training, they have the ophthalmologist should think in the perspective, what are his future plans? I think there are two categories. So if you are deciding to take up an academic career, or others may venture on to a practice-oriented training. So these are the two main things which they are likely to take up. So if it is an academics one, if they are fortunate enough, they could get admission or attachment to an institution like I mentioned, either the first one or the second type. There they have the retina, phaco, then the refractive, then super specialties like glaucoma, pediatric ophthalmology, where they have 1 or 2 years of service and they become competent ophthalmologists in that particular super specialty. But if in case they are wanting to go for a practice-oriented one, like their father or mother or their parents, maybe both ophthalmologists, and they would like to take up, in which case the institutions that I would suggest to them when they approach me for an advance is to go into an institution where there is a high volume surgery, high volume patients. They become accustomed to, they could have an opportunity to see the various types of clinical types of cases, and they're also exposed to different type of surgeries. The high volume surgeons get good opportunity to operate upon, and they come out as a very practically oriented, and they're capable of delivering the best service. They become more competent ophthalmic surgeons. I am sure that they have get an inkling even into the most of these institutions, they have an ophthalmic wing, which is community ophthalmology. So that is also there. And also their approach to the patient, about the patient-doctor relationships, the art of communication, all those things come in. Administrative setup, because they have a lot of big institution has a mix-up, a network of so many specialities, putting together the administrative aspects related to that. All those things come in. So they are very well trained into that practice-oriented one also. So these are the two types of things that we have, and we are in the middle, although we are in the third one. I think as an ophthalmologist, I been able to. I was fortunate to have to train so many of them. I don't remember the number because many of them are abroad, and some of them are in India. Some of them are in Gulf. Even my daughter is not here; she is abroad. But Biju is with me. That is one relief for me. So he take care of both retina and phaco, so I can relax and go out for some work with the IMA or whatever it is, or go on for some recording bring out some new songs and share it with the people like a very good singer, Sai. So he's there to, sir, you go on singing. You are becoming better and better. As your age grows, your singing also is better. That's what he says. Okay, that is just outside the thing. And people who had an opportunity to be with me probably had except the surgical training, they also got exposed to other aspects, like the medical legal aspects, then the art of communication with the patient and their relatives. So, you probably might remember that I had the misfortune to have a cluster infection in my hospital. So how you should inform this to the patient? Some complications is okay. So it was a very difficult situation, very, very difficult situation. You can imagine if 13 or 14 of your cases getting infected after 2 weeks of surgery. That is such a, I even now I just shudder. And but I could withstand the onslaught of the press, the media, the people, and the general talk everywhere. But we were able to, because we know in our conscience that you haven't had any fault with myself, because I never, it was the contamination of a solution in the Irrigasol, I don't remember the name. And also the subsequent court proceeding. So they got a chance that how I explain these things to the patients. So they could learn the art of communication, of the doctor-patient relationship, and how when there is a legal battle, how you should fight that valiantly and succeed. And those are the lessons that they have learned, and they have learned it very well. I'm so grateful that I was able to be the to be their role model in a different way. So they could learn so many new things, not only ophthalmology, some other things. So, and you might wonder how I was able to withstand that onslaught of the Lok Sabha interpellations, the assembly interpellations and everything. The next day, I was operating upon a minister. He was a finance minister. And somebody called me, doctor, we are sorry to hear, where are you? I said, I am operating on a minister. they were just wondered and they were surprised, So that is by way of, some anecdotes that associated with that. And in order to get out of that worry and tension, I used to took to music and conducted so many animalas and performed. So that gave me a lot of relief. So music is the one thing which comforted me, which relaxed me, and I came out of all these difficulties. So my advice to as a mentor to the younger ophthalmologist is to think of what you want to be and select the appropriate training program. Whether you take up as academic side or the practice side, in each thing, either be the case, but there are certain common things, whether you are on this side or that side. The online educational system has grown up in such a strength and stature that you have to always take hold of all the opportunities and associate yourself with all these seminars, the webinars, and all those things. And whenever you get an interaction to deal with senior ophthalmologists and mentors, take full advantage of these associations. Then get to do your operations with attending wet labs, seminars, attend national conference, international conferences, hard work. As I think Dr. Tony said that, that hard work is the final thing. There is no substitute for hard work. Work, work, work sincerely, and success will be yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Raju. Now you know why I did not ask him about music. I knew that he will bring music into it somehow. Now, since so many years I have known him. He is one of those persons whom I have never ever seen in an angry mood, whatever be the situation. So if I had another chance to be trained as an ophthalmologist, I would definitely prefer to be mentored by him. Thank you, Dr. Raju.
I am looking for that opportunity.
Thank you, Varma sir. And next, Dr. Lalita Susan Thomas. Madam has been, I've heard about Madam right from the time I was in Kolanjeri as a very successful practitioner who somehow has not crossed the Venduruthi bridge into Ernakulam side. She has always been, you know, around Cochin. She was a very successful practitioner. Took care of her family. Was involved in a lot of other, you know, activities, charities, and NGOs. So, Madam, can you please speak about your initial, you know, practice area of Cochin?
Thank you, Sai.
How to manage time, how to prioritize things. So we are waiting to hear from you.
Thank you. It's very nice of you to call me because everybody else is past president, KSOS on that level. And I'm just an ordinary person. But you have been kind enough to call me. Maybe you wanted one lady on the panel. I don't know whether that is whether that was your intention, but it is. What I would, few things I would, I won't take long because there are so many more people coming on. I'm audible, isn't it? So when I came to,
yes, ma'am.
When I came to Cochin, I mean, I got married and came here. I was in between my studies when I got married. So I came here. And then I was just learning to cook and learning to keep house and things like that. And then those days, there was a Dr. P.T. Chako. Dr. Tony will remember him very well. He had come back from Nigeria and set up practice near the ground, near Kunyalus, initially in Kunyalus. And he knew me, through some relatives. And one day he came home. He said, you can't finish studies and sit here like this without practicing. So why don't you come to my place and just watch me work? And then I started going. And then a week later, he comes with a trial set and a frame and all that to my house. And he says, you start a practice. That is how I started practice. I don't think people nowadays are so large-hearted of bringing others up. And then I started. Then I had a child. I was busy with that. And then I went and met Dr. Tony. I mean, I'm most indebted to Dr. Tony. And he said, okay, let me see. And when Dr. Narayan Kuti went on 2 months leave, he gave me a room there. And I stayed there in the hospital and brushed up on because I'd finished and then I had not done anything for 2 years. So he's the one who got me back into starting work and starting a practice properly. And he was so, and every workshop that they had, I would go for it. And for me, I mean, his house, I've stayed with him so many times. And he used to take me we used to go for conferences together. It was a big family affair, Yvonne and myself and the children. And, it was always, he was so caring. And one of the things that he taught all the people who worked under him or whom he mentored was, you don't have to let down somebody else or say anything about another doctor to establish yourself. That is one thing he always said. And he was like that. Suppose your patient had a problem and you had done something wrong and went to Dr. Tony, he would maybe tell you privately what you could have done to have done a better case. But he would never, and he said, you have to be very, very careful with patients because they'll make you say they are worse than the journalists. They'll make you say something, even if you nod your head, they'll go back and say, this doctor said that what the other person had done was all wrong. So he said, never do that to anybody. Even if the other person is wrong, don't say that. That is one of the things he taught everybody. And he was a great teacher. I would often go to LF. I could walk into the operation theater anytime he was operating. And as Elizabeth said, his surgery was something. So always worth seeing, always worth getting ideas from him. And his first, I got interested in strabismus because of the workshop they had in LF with Dr. Prem Prakash, and I don't remember who the other person was. And being the people in charge of the workshop, 2-day workshop, they used to have these things, which I used to go for. And I used to go for all conferences, All India conference, things like that. And even this Dr. Chaco, Dr. Tony is around. I hope he's here. I hope he's hearing me. He was the one very much responsible for starting KSOS. He was the one who got Dr. C. Uman and Dr. Tony to think about starting KSOS. And that was in December 1974 that we started KSOS. And with the function and all that, I missed that because my baby, who was supposed to be delivered 2 days after that, decided to come in a week earlier. So I didn't have the opportunity of being present for the inaugural function. They had said that I could, in spite of my big tummy, I could come for it, but I missed that. And then, of course, all those who were there for the first AIOS conference at Ernakulam, you know, it was such a family affair working together for it. That was there. And then by 85, I had a bad car accident. So when I had sort of built up a certain amount of practice, surgical skills, things like that, I had this car accident which took me off walking for 6-8 months, hospital 3 months, and then I had to sort of start again. Before that, again, in 80, I was supposed to join Dr. Tony for he had just started the M&A program. I was supposed to, and then I became pregnant, and so that became off. And then in 85, this setback was there. And then I went on. I've never achieved anything like what you would call financially or academically or anything. But right now at this stage, I'm a very happy, content person. I have no regret that is there. Especially the first time you go back to 88 was the first time when we were going back to our college, MBBS college, for our reunion. And then you see people who were barely managing their studies, doing so well. There are many things. And then you realize that you haven't reached there. Then to accept. And then again in the 90s, late 90s, there was, I had a lot of problem at home, in the sense that that was the time everybody was going into IOLs in the 90s. And either I had to go for training and go on to that. There were few who wanted the others, but it was all right. And then I had my mother, my mother-in-law, teenage children. So something of mine had to go. And so it was surgery. So by the time I was in my 50s, mid-50s, I stopped surgery. Initially, it took me, I felt very bad about it. I could not sort of openly tell another doctor or a patient that I've stopped surgery. It was difficult. But right now, at this stage, I have no regrets. I have no regrets about it. What I'd like to tell the younger children now, everybody has their own, nowadays people are more ambitious. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you decide to work, don't feel guilty about it. That is one thing. Don't feel guilty that you're neglecting your children or you're neglecting this thing. They will all grow. You just need just to tell you a small incident. When my son was about 6 or 7, one day a visitor had come. So she was asking me, how are you? What are your working hours? So I said, oh, I don't work 24 hours. I keep time for the home and children. After the person left, my son tells me, if you were working more, you could have got me a computer for my room. So you know, but right now, of course, my children have no complaints against me. But those are the things that it's a matter of, it's not compromise. You decide what you want, what your priorities are. Just because somebody else's priorities are different, you don't have to go in for that. The other things that I did, like he said, many NGOs, Raksha School, we have a school for special children here in Western Cochin. My husband has been associated with it. He is right now again the chairman of it. He has been, we are founder members, but I go there to take care of the children because most of them have eye problems. And many of my colleagues in Ernakulam have been good enough to do some surgery for them because most people don't want to take up children with problems, the anesthesia, all that, and most of them can't afford. So that is one thing. Then my IMA, I am a founder member of my Cochin West IMA and was president 98-99. And still, I mean, not very active, but continuing. And then in between we had, then of course I'm very active with my Inner Wheel organization. So that again, so there's a lot of social work and I love doing that. If not anything, now I'm semi-retired. But then you'll find that I'm teaching my servants' children to speak in English or something like that. Something I don't have a thing of what will I do, you know, what is there to do. Even when even the lockdown doesn't give me a problem. I can read, I can, you know, catch up on things and lots of friends, relatives who are there. I'm happy.
Thank you. Thank you so much, madam. That was a very candid, talk. And I also had the unique opportunity of taking care of the eyes of some of madam's relatives. And in fact, I operated, madam has twin sisters, and both of them I operated on the same day. So
I hope you're keeping that photograph.
Yeah. I've got a photograph on the first post-op day with both of them by my side. Thank you so much, madam, for participating in this. I request Varmaji to talk to the next person.
Thank you.
Dr. Tira, sir, please unmute yourself, sir. Dr. Tira, please unmute yourself. Sir, unmute yourself, sir. Can you hear me?
Problem.
I know. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah.
If I were to ask to describe Dr. T.P. Tera in one sentence, I would say he's the one person who thinks out of the box. He gets all sorts of esoteric ideas about ophthalmology and things outside it. Nowadays, I think he's more or equally as interested as in ophthalmology as in other subjects, like, like I said, esoteric topics like life and death, the soul, spirituality. I would like him to talk to us on the spirituality in clinical practice and outside it, please, sir.
Well, spirituality is related to soul, God, and all these things, and ethics. My first learning about soul is from my mother. My mother said that if you don't do good things, your soul will not go to heaven. So you should obey your parents. You should not quarrel with your cousins. You should not beat them up. If you do all these things, your soul will not go to them. So that is how it started. So I had this feeling about soul right from the beginning. And this was cemented by the Sunday schools, where I was also taught that God will decide what are things you have done good, what are things you have done bad. And depending upon that, you will be distributed either to heaven or to the hell. So be very good. And it's a good thing. Then I joined in the medical college. I was searching for the soul in the persons. The dead persons, there is no soul. So whatever it is, regarding soul, as far as a religion is concerned, it is the most important thing. Because soul minus the person is a dead body. Soul plus the dead body is a person. So the religion has divided a person into a dead and a soul. And all the more important is the soul, not the body. Because the soul is living after your death. So this is how soul is being conceptualized. And regarding our practice or in medicine, there is no credible evidence for soul. So all the other things are religious part. So for a religious thing, soul is very essential because the whole principles, ethics, everything depends on the soul. And the day you die, your soul is born in the heaven. So this is a big hope. So being medical person, we are also facing many situations where death is very near. Death is the most unpalatable thing. And this unpalatable death is converted to a palatable or acceptable or less painful thing by the invention of soul, by man. Because when a man dies, his soul is not dying. So you should be happy. And in that case, you can go to such an extent that death is better than life because the soul is all the more important and is going to the heaven. So if you do good things, and again, most of the time, you are told that you do good things for the sake of soul to go to the heaven. You know? But the question is, in practical things in our life, when we want to give a bad news that you are going to die within 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something like that, when you have got, so then comes all these soul things. Today, just today, I read one interesting article in JAMA Oncology. This was about spirituality. I think I have put it in the Facebook. It's an article on spirituality in a medical journal. And what has happened is that one particular doctor was asked to convey that this person has got multiple secondaries in the liver and everywhere, and is not going to survive more. So one of his colleagues wanted him. So both of them got there. So usually the concept about handling these things are by chaplain or spiritual leaders. For example, in our hospital, Little Flower Hospital, we have got a spiritual father. He goes with all these things, and the doctor need not do anything like that. But in this particular article, very interestingly, the doctor with another colleague goes there and tells the patient that you have got so much of things. And afterwards, this particular doctor wanted to visit him once more. So he went there. He is very gloomy, sad, and all. So he asked, "Shall I pray for you?" Then this man told, "Yes." And the doctor prayed for him. That made him happy. He was a Jewish man. The doctor is a Christian. It's immaterial, whoever is, whatever may be the religion. So in his own way, he prayed God for his benefit. And another very interesting thing is that in all of the religious books, in many religious books, you see that you get disease as a part of sin. Even today, the COVID, somebody thinks that it has come as a part of sin people have done. Fortunately, Pope has told that COVID is not sent by God. He has very clearly mentioned that it is not, God has not sent COVID. So you see, as a medical man, we have got so many concepts about disease. And we cannot say that the disease is caused by the sin. And in fact, another very interesting area is psychiatry, where most of the diseases are believed to be due to the invasion of evil soul. Even today, you ask many people, even educated people, they think that it is due to the invasion of a evil spirit. And you put the spirit out, then everything will be all right. So these are this mixing up of things. But one thing I'll tell you, spirituality is very essential. But you should know, the soul is created by man for the benefit of man. It makes the death less unpleasant. Because when you believe that your soul is living in the heaven the moment you are dying, you don't have any feeling that you are going to hell, or your body is going to disintegrate. You see? So the body disintegrates at atomic level or at molecular level. You see? But that is what is the life of a vertebrate or a higher order animals. Now you look at the animals of the lower order. For example, an amoeba. There is usually they don't die. They don't have a routine death. See, that older, when the amoeba becomes old, it divides. It divides and becomes two young ones. Is it not pleasant? Instead of death, you divide and to become a young one. Start your life again. Right? So these are the things, as you said, I have got so many eccentric ideas. This is one of the eccentric ideas. So all these eccentric ideas, I have put it in book form. And you know that. And there are so many interesting ideas in life. I became a doctor 50 years back. If you compress all the interesting aspects in 50 years, it will be a big thing. You cannot complete this discussion here. So I have discussed certain things, interesting. Now, you want me to give some advice?
Yes, please, sir.
Yes,
please,
how
sir.
long time we have? Do you
I think
have
another 2 minutes.
So as far as an advice is concerned, you think, you see, Socrates has told, I have not taught anybody anything. I have taught them to think. So thinking is the most important thing you have to learn. Just transfer of some data from one person to another person's brain is not teaching. Teaching is you teach the person to think. So that is why different types of thinking is there. Now, this type of a thinking, bit eccentric, is also known as lateral thinking. And lateral thinking is described as a different one. You know, vision has got two components. Every ophthalmist knows. We have got acuity of vision and the field of vision. We usually check only acuity of vision. Only in special occasions we check that. So what is the field of vision? It is the breadth of the vision. What is acuity vision? The depth of the vision. The same thing is about knowledge. Same thing is about thinking. You can think very, very vertically, very deep. So that is what we are, when we specialize, you become more and more about less and less. And ultimately you know everything about nothing. Understand? You have got that point. You reduce your speed and you magnify it. As you magnify it, your field is gone. You see, so lateral thinking is the breadth of thinking. You think in breadthwards. Yeah. So when you think in breadthwards, you will have a better idea. And in fact, for life, breadth of thinking is very important. You should know something about everything. What is happening all around you, you know?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that is the breadth. Now imagine a situation. If you have got 6 vision both eyes with 5-degree field, that man is blind. He has got a very depth of vision. But imagine he has got a good field, even though there is no vision, 660, they can move around without any problem. The same is true about knowledge and thinking. If you go for deep, your knowledge gets so much reduced into one particular way. Now you take the microscope, you see the large field, you see everything. First you see with the low power. The moment you put into the high power or oil immersion, the field is gone. So you are focused to a particular point. So this is the problem. For ophthalmologist as such, you see, I became ophthalmologist. My mother asked, you studied so many years. Now you are going to see only the eye. What is the fun in it? So you have studied so many things. Now what is the situation? I have further specialized in the retina and vitreous. So that is further reduced. Now, this reminds me of what my guide in BHU was, Dr. Nima. He is the author of several books. And in fact, I had this publication bug bitten from BHU. So he was the man who was encouraging writing books, write articles like that. Now, this man told me one thing. You get specialized always, otherwise it will be very problem. It's a lot of competition. Even if the specialization is epilation, you get specialized in epilation. So what it says that to the new people, you should get specialized and you should be the king in that. Second thing I want to tell you is that, you see, there are so many, Dr. Tony told you should be innovative, you should be hardworking, you should do some project, you should do service, everything you have to do. But one thing I should tell you, don't go back. See, when you try to innovate, you may go wrong. Don't discard it. If you are convinced about it, persist. Repeat. Even if, see, I had sent one article, a very interesting article, 5 journals. They refused, insulting in some of them. But the sixth one published it. So it is something. So if I have not tried, it should not have happened. Now you think about your school days. You are cycling. I was cycling. So many times I have fallen from the cycle. But once you learn the balancing, it's a pleasure. You go on riding with the cycle, isn't it? So persistence is very important. If you discard it halfway, you can achieve nothing. Whatever all the other great men have told, the same thing I also have to say. But only thing is that you persist if you want to achieve something. Okay, thank you, Paramaji. Anything else?
Thank you, sir.
No, sir. Thank you very much, sir. That thing about the depth and breadth of thinking is the most original thing I heard today. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. And now it is my pleasure to ask a few questions to Dr. Narayanan Kuti. As you all know, he's a person who has been there in all specialties. Like, Itira sir said, you have to specialize in something, but Narayanan Kuti sir is there in everything. And beyond his capabilities as an ophthalmologist, he is into music, he is into magic, he is into yoga, he is into meditation, he is into bodybuilding and whatnot. So I would like to hear from Narayan your parallel hobbies, your other passions along with ophthalmology, and what is it that you do advise us and all the younger generation of people? What is the importance of having a passion, academic passion, and how much it will influence your life?
Yeah, I am audible. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good evening to everybody. Let me first of all thank the Cochin Ophthalmic Club and the office bearers and all the members for giving me an opportunity to interact with you. Actually, I am a person without any inborn talents. Whatever I have achieved is by sheer hard work only. And I doubt whether there will be any person who have changed 180 degrees just like me, just like I have changed. I have got two phases of life, one up to 2000 and other phase of life after 2000. So there are so many things. Actually, the people say that wise people learn from others' mistakes. Since I am not a very wise person, I have learned from my own mistakes. Actually, I am, as a student, my passion was only for mathematics and physics. I hated biology. You will wonder how I came to be a doctor. And my grandfather was a doctor. He wanted one of his sons to become a doctor. They didn't get admission to medical college. So I am the eldest son of his eldest daughter. So he wanted me to take up medicine. And even the marks also, I used to get minimum marks in biology compared to the other subjects. But for the qualifying examination, by luck, I became first in the state marks. So God has destined me to become a doctor. The hobbies and all, I started very late in my life. In the initial part of my life career, I was only completely immersed in professional life only. The hobbies started from the age of 50 only. At the age of 50, I started the yoga practice. And initially I got difficulty. Now I bought a big book, BKS Iyengar. And from that I started doing yoga. And now I am able to do about 120 asanas, even at this age. And other was my computer was my another passion. In 1986, only shipyard had the desktop computer, and some people had a Hatari, some personal computer. But I bought the desktop computer, a color monitor, and a printer for 2.25 lakhs rupees that time. That time you should know that in 1986, ophthalmic instruments, equipments were also not that much costly. And it has memory only 10 MB. And I attended evening classes there for 6 months and learned the basics in computer and also programming in basic COBOL and Fortran languages. Then one thing I was doing, and I ask everybody not to repeat it, is that I was, instead of working in one station, I was working from Guruvayur to Pale, different stations, carrying my microscope with me. There is absolutely no need that you can sit in one station and work, and whatever patients will come to you. In the initial stages of my career, I was a very short-tempered person. And Dr. Ruben, who was my assistant in my consultation, used to hide when I started scolding the patients. And actually, one patient even urinated in my consultation room. I had a passion for repairing the equipments. And the medical college, I was repairing the ophthalmoscopes, all the damage. I still remember that myself and Dr. George Thomas crawling on the floor, searching for the missing ball bearings from the ophthalmoscope. And I took up cryosurgery as my thesis for MS, just thinking that I'll get more cases of cataract for operations. What happened that there is no cryo machine in medical college. And Amoil's cryo, that time it was costing about 25,000 rupees, which I cannot afford. So I consulted Baliwala and he made a prototype cryo, and I started the surgery with that cryo equipment. But I never understood that we had to use Freon 22 instead of Freon 12 for the cryo equipment. Because of the Freon 12 is used for the refrigerators, it contains a lot of pollutants, and a lot of particles. So it used to block the nozzle. So every time I have to spend money for getting it repaired. Actually, I have taken the music to just get my old age. I should not get Alzheimer's. I thought that if you are got something new, if you learn, that is what we can do for that thing. So at the age of 72 only, I started from Saptasara, the classical music, and still continuing the lessons. And at the age of 73, I started learning violin. And at the age of 74, I started flute also. Still, all the three I am continuing. So rather than the fashion, I think the setbacks I had, I think I should elaborate on that, because that will be a lesson to the young generation. The first setback I had, that many of you know that I had a problem in the IMA when I was a secretary. I had to confront 30 people with weapons using a fake pistol, and somehow I escaped from escaped my place. Otherwise, I would have lost my life, because those people were all quotation gang people. So that many of you know, but something which you people don't know, I will tell you. That one is, that is in 1978, I posted a case for cataract, and the son, after admitting the patient, he went for the work. But that day I got a cornea for transplantation, and this particular patient had a right eye cataract with counting fingers, and left eye had a scarred cornea from paddy grain injury. So the doctor was with the patient. I told her that the cataract surgery can wait. There is a chance of getting vision in the scarred cornea eye. So I will do transplantation for that eye. And I did transplantation. In the evening, when the son came, he found the bandage in the wrong eye. So he made a lot of noise. That time there was one person who was in the editorial board of Madhyamam. He had earlier requested me to get a reference letter for his cousin to Dr. Badrinath, because he knew that I had taken training from Badrinath. And he had an advanced RP with the consecutive optic atrophy. So I told that there is no known treatment for that. And if I send a reference letter for a condition without any treatment, I'll be actually humiliating him. But I can get an appointment with him, and you can get a second opinion. So he said, well, after all, what is there for a signature? You can just give a signature. No effort is required from your part. So I say that's not possible. So he was there, and his cousin was there. So next day morning when I got up, I got phone calls saying that the Madhyamam paper, it was second edition of the Madhyamam Patram. The front page, it is written in General Hospital Ernakulam, a patient was operated in the wrong eye. That is the first title, the biggest title. And even my name was mentioned in that. Luckily, it did not came to other papers because they are all asked me what happened, and I explained to them, and they refrained from putting it in the paper. But I had to face an inquiry. And when the inquiry medical officer was a physician, asked the patient, as a protocol, they will ask first question will be, which eye you are having less vision? The patient said to the doctor that, how can I say that you are only seeing my eye? I cannot see my own eyes. That is the answer he gave. So even the inquiry officer told me, how you are getting such patients for surgery? The next mishap I had, that was in 1980s. I had a very VIP patient who was a cousin of Gongha. You know that he was a owner of Indian Express that time. And this patient I got acquainted because he had started one industries in Kalamasheri along with some other partner, Anjaleya Industries. And when he came, once I met him in some meetings, and he said that his daughter is having some defective vision, and they were getting treatment from Bombay, and there was no improvement. So I asked him to bring the daughter here, and while examining, I just saw the scissor shadows in the retinoscope, and also in the plastidosis there was it was not very regular. So I diagnosed as keratoconus and gave them rigid contact lens, and he was very happy that from 636 the patient improved to 612. So after that he had a trust in me. So when he developed a cataract, he wanted me to do the surgery, and his sister was a senior consultant in Moorfields Eye Hospital with FRCS ophthalmology. And everybody in Bombay told them to go to England and get this surgery. Then he said that I have got a trust in Dr. Narayananguti. I will do surgery here. So I was working in General Hospital in Ernakulam, and he didn't like the general ward, and even the pay ward, there was a lot of booking. I didn't get a room. So for the first time, I took him to a private hospital, although by law I am not allowed to go to the private hospital. And he consulted an astrologer, and he said that on Vijayadashmi day is the best day to do surgery. So I posted the surgery in that private hospital, where I did not know that they have done a puja in the side room of the theater. And after that, that owner of the hospital went to Mugambia. I posted the surgery there. But usually he used to do surgery after doing the fumigation, but I never knew that puja was conducted. So I do surgery, went on well, but next day when I opened up the eyes, pus was coming actually, and the wound was gaping. And I told them that he is having panophthalmitis. A chance of getting vision is very remote. So naturally he is contacted his sister there. A sister phoned me what happened from England. And after 2 hours, Dr. Badrinath also phoned me up. So many people from all over India was asking me what is happening, what is happening. And even some people from Bombay told him to go for litigation against me. But this person was so nice. So he said that I am still having great trust. It is not his fault. The astrologer also has told him that it was a tough time for him. So he never went for litigation. You see, because Gonge was his cousin, it would have come again in Indian Express in very, very big letters. So God has saved me in that condition. And third mishap I had is actually people get raid, income tax raid when only wealthy people get. I was not that wealthy, but because of my tongue, I got into this problem. There was one day the Wellington was our minister was has put a inspection in General Hospital Ernakulam. So 8 o'clock the register will go. So I have to reach there at 8 o'clock itself. So I used to do consultation only in the evening. Morning, some people will come. Then I used to see them also before going to the hospital. That particular day at 8 o'clock, just I was going out. At the gate, some person came and met me and told me that I had some problem in the eye. Please see me, my eyes. So I told him the minister is coming for inspection. So I want to go there. I have no time. But I'll give you the first preference at 3 o'clock in the evening. Now, even if I am not it will not be in a mood, I can even write some tests and dispose of you, asking you to come in the evening. But I don't want to. So I frankly saying that I have to go to hospital. So you come in the evening. Then he said that I am Assistant Commissioner Income Tax and all. That time, my tongue was so bad. I told him, so what? Doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference to me. I told him, so what? I don't have, it doesn't make any difference to me. So he went back and 3-4 days he was coming there and sitting there in the waiting room and counting the patients. And he directly wrote to the Commissioner of Police, the Commissioner of Income Tax saying that I am not showing the actual income. And they did a raid, not only in my house at Trichur also, and my sister's house at Angamali, and reopened all my accounts, bank accounts for 10 years. And even now, my accounts with income tax is not come back to my original place. Now, the one advantage I have got that because all the people in that place where now my account is there, they are all declaring their income in crores. So my income is very low, so they are very easily get clearance now because they don't even review the income tax returns. So immediately after submitting the returns, I get the clearance.
Thank you, sir. I think we have 2 more speakers. I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir. Yeah. So
you want any message?
Yeah. Just a winding up sentence, sir.
Winding up sentence is that you should have a desire, stress for your progress in life. But if you have a desire with more than the limit, then you will lose your peace and tranquility. Because actually people think that if you buy a Benz car, you will be happy. It is once you get the car, you will get temporarily, you will be happy because you are fulfilling your desire. But later on, again, the desire will come. You will aspire for a Rolls Royce, and then your peace will go. And the next thing is that you always think of the blessings that you have got rather than your shortcomings, and try to become a better person. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for those nice words and some anecdotes and incidents that has happened in your life for sharing it with us. Varmaji, can we go on to the next?
Sure. I would like to ask Dr. Alexander. Dr. Alexander, the most handsome senior citizen in Cochin Ophthalmic Club, our own pocket-sized Prime Minister. Sir, these sort of interviews, I'll tell you. You were the professor of ophthalmology in CMC Vellore, sort of an acme for anybody in South India at that point of time. Then he came to Koilon, became the uncrowned king of ophthalmology in Koilon. Came to Ernakulam, again had a very successful institution. It's usual in these sort of interviews to ask how you cope with failures. But I want to ask you how you cope with success. You are the very same person you used to be in the time you are in CMC. Very approachable, humble, simple, you know. The success does not go to your head. How do you cope with success, sir?
Can you hear me?
Oh, sure.
Success is a difficult term to define. If you ask 10 people, they'll give you 10 different answers. But in simple terms, you can say that accomplishment of an aim is success. And if you look at people who have been successful, you find a group of people who are happy with their life and a group of people who are miserable in spite of the fact of being successful. The point is that all successful people are not successful, but they are miserable. Success in many fields, fame, for example, if you take Michael Jackson, if you take Elvis Presley, if you take Marilyn Monroe, they all been successful in fame, but they forgot the meaning of life. And they became failures, they lost everything, and many of them committed suicide. The question here is, how can you take success properly? And the end result is what Dr. Lalitha said, I am happy and I am contented. That is the main point that I would like to stress on. And I can give you a few tips to have a good mind and a happy life and be successful with happiness. For me, a successful man is a happy man. I give the happy constant to different people. You take countries, USA, people think it's a big country, but many people are unhappy there. You take Bhutan, people are happy there. So your happiness is the most important thing in your success in life. That's my personal feeling. It's a big topic, it can be discussed. Dr. Itia, I can give you a few tips. Dr. Itia has said, spirituality is very important. Absolutely true. For getting to that belief of having spirituality, you have to believe in God. You may not have scientific evidence, but it comes from experience. I have experiences, so I am a firm believer in God. And the few tips I can give you is, as far as possible, you be helpful to fellow human beings. As far as we ophthalmologists are concerned, we got a lot of visually challenged people, a lot of blind people whom we can help. Other than that, in some time in practice, however great a surgeon you are, however great a physician you are, some patients, due to excessive work, late nights, lack of knowledge, no preoperative workup, poor nursing, poor theater, you lose vision in some patients at some time. And don't you think you're morally responsible for their visual deterioration? So as ophthalmologists, we should all have a focus towards helping the visually challenged people. It is our obligation, and sometimes I feel it is mandate. The second one is get rid of all those nonsense of comparison, pride, envy, ego, etc. All that things are unnecessary in life. We are all created different. In the previous 5 or 6 speakers, you saw the different personalities and their successes. They are all successful in their own field. God has created all of us, but He doesn't clone people. Each one is created in different ways. And each one tells you a message. And each one has got a purpose in life. So if you can be happy, that is your level of success. Now, most of the people did not mention about being good to yourself. The first thing I remember a prayer which was taught in my school days. God gave me the ability to understand what I cannot do and give me the courage to see what I can do and the wisdom to differentiate between the two. You don't have to kill yourself by working too hard to complete your life and be happy. moderate working, moderate exercise, good healthy food, simple life, spend time with your family. If you want to travel, you please travel. You can't afford a overseas travel, go to India. If you can't go to India, you at least get around in the morning and see the birds chirping, their sounds, see the trees, how beautiful they are, see the flowers. That will give you happiness. So you have to look after yourself. For the young people, I must tell you that right now, the problem is that the country doesn't look after you. So it's probably nice to have a corpus right from the beginning, plan for an early retirement. This corpus will save you in times of trouble. And also, it's not a bad idea to have an alternate source of income, like a rental income, where you are not directly involved in it. So doing good to yourself is equally important to have a happy life. And the other important thing is contentment and minimalism. You have to be contented. You climb heights, you cannot reach the top. When you reach the top, you find there are 10 people above you. So be contented with what you have, that will give you happiness. That is how you overcome happiness. The happiness which I mentioned is of two types. Happiness is due to happenings in the world. But the true happiness is, as Itira said, the happiness which comes from the soul. The soul during creation was given to you earlier before your physical body was created. That is our belief. So you have to have a contented feeling with minimalism to have proper happiness. I can go to a few examples. If you take our own president, who passed away a few years ago, Dr. Abdul Kalam, when he died, what did he have? He had only few pairs of dress, few shoes, and a hall full of accolades and medals, and his Bharat Ratna. He had high thinking and low living. Simple living. If you have roti, kapda or magan, you don't want anything to do. Only problem with all of us is that we take a long time to understand all these things, realize all these things. It took me 50 years to understand really the crux of it. And that time I reduced my practice. I started focusing on other things. I would like to tell you what Albert Einstein said. Albert Einstein said, you will have peace of mind with a modest life, rather than you'll have happiness and a peace of mind with a modest life, rather than having a rush for power, which is associated with bickerings and restlessness. We take the history of King Solomon in the Bible. King Solomon was the king of Israel, son of King David, a handsome man, wisest of all, and he had a lot of things to do. He was a musician, he could write books, he could write poetry, he had fantastic collection of ornaments and jewels. Even Queen of Sheba visited him. He was somebody to look forward to. He once developed an aptitude for antiques, and he started collecting antiques, and he had hell of a lot of antiques to be collected. He had everything in life. When he wrote the book Ecclesiastes, that's in the Bible, he ultimately mentioning all these things, he said, it's all vanity. But the last two sentences in his book is, fear your Lord and follow his commands, and that's the way life it is. As your life is settling down, you are helping your fellow colleagues, teachers, respecting them, helping your patients, being good to them, and not being over-ambitious will stand steady for you. When your sun is sitting down and you look upstairs, you find all the good deeds that you have done, shining, sparkling stars on the sky, which will make you happy, so they can exit this place where you have come in a happy manner. End should be better than the beginning. I hope I haven't talked much of philosophy. Ophthalmology is there, but most of my elders, I am the junior most in this, and most of my elders have given their experiences. It was wonderful to share it with them. I love you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. It is absolutely fine.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for those nice words. And finally, last but the most towering personality of Dr. P.I. Mohan. I heard about Mohan, sir, when my senior colleague, Dr. Mohammad Naveed, joined Kolanjeri way back in 1992. And he had told me that there was a person called Dr. Mohan there who was shifted to Wayanad from Kolanjeri, and there vacancy there, and then I'm joining. And then when I was in Kolanjeri, I had the opportunity to meet him, and then we had a very close association, a very close friendship with Dr. P.I. Mohan. One of the things that he has pioneered in the state of Kerala is community ophthalmology. He's an excellent cataract surgeon. I've heard that even in those days he used to do orbital surgeries in a place like Kolanjeri. But over and above that, his passion for community ophthalmology has been a real, shining path for many of us to follow, and that is doing well even now. Sir, your initial experiences with community ophthalmology, both in Kolanjeri and in Wayanad, and then your tryst with administration and your work in Kolanjeri as medical superintendent. We would just like to hear all that. Please unmute yourself, sir. So we can't hear you. Prashop, can you check whether his audio is okay?
A moment. His audio is unmuted.
Yeah, audio is unmuted actually.
But
Somehow,
we can't
sir,
hear you, sir.
Sir, are you using a microphone? Are you using any earpiece or anything? Can you hear me? Mohan, sir?
Mohan sir can use a mobile if you want. Mohan sir, you can actually connect on a mobile.
I don't think he can hear us.
I think he heard my initial comments and he was about to speak, and then something happened to the audio.
No, at that time he was not unmuted. Even he was muted that time.
Can someone make a phone call to him and just find out?
I'll make a phone call, sir.
Is the headphone accidentally unplugged?
Meanwhile, anything else is there, we can discuss.
Yeah. Just called, sir. Just called Mohan, sir. He's joining us on the phone. In the meanwhile, if there are any other audience questions to the
previous speakers.
Yeah. Mahesh, you wanted to ask something.
Yeah. Actually, from each of these seniors, we have a few, few things to learn. Gopal, you remember last year when we went to Kumbh Mela?
Yeah, I wanted to speak that, but
5-day camp,
was the spiritual leader.
3,000, 4,000 patients. Actually, we were very hardworking. From morning 8 o'clock, we will sit till 2 o'clock. Then I wanted to bunk. Then Radharshan sir will tell, no, you sit down. We have come here to work. So he will not allow us to go and sleep also. So we have 6,000 people every day. Not every day. over the 5 days. That is
And
right.
it was like 6 degrees Celsius, where
Yeah.
Radhakrishnan sir led us every day, and he will come in the coat, the black coat and all. So all the patients will come to him only. We will all be sitting around.
Like that, I mean, each person, this Narayanagutty sir's mafia dawn encounter can be made into a movie, in fact. Not, and Narayanagutty sir can be a movie, in fact, if you see the real story.
Mohan sir is still muted, Gopal?
He said he will come in the phone.
Okay.
He must be trying to get a link into the phone. Get the link and click on it.
Prashok, can we find out how many people have actually watched this on other platforms?
Mohan sir, are you ready? Can we start?
Just a minute, sir.
Mohan sir, I think, has connected onto another instrument. Connecting to audio.
Talking of making movies, I would like to inform you that Cochin Ophthalmic Club has submitted a short film for the competition to be conducted by Kerala State Branch IMA.
It is a 3-minute short film. A festival is going on, and
we have submitted one. Cochin Ophthalmic Club has submitted one.
Who are the actors, sir?
Let's wait till the results are out.
see who is smiling, well in this group, and then you can guess.
A shy smile. Shy smile. And fidgety.
Yeah. So now everyone has guessed.
Sir Mohan sir, please unmute yourself, sir. Yeah. Still not audible, sir.
Join with the device audio is there, no? Something like that, or join with the internet or something.
Test your audio or something.
Rishabh, you have...
Yes, sir. Can you call him on the phone and tell that he has to press the join call via internet? Join via internet.
I will do that.
We had more than 270 views according to YouTube analytics. 273.
Okay.
Sony, താടി ഭംഗിയായിരിക്കുന്നു സോണിയുടെ താടി.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
മാസ്ക് വേണ്ട.
പല്ല് മാത്രമേ കാണുന്നുള്ളൂ, പല്ല് മാത്രം. ബ്ലാക്ക് മാസ്ക്. രാത്രിയൊക്കെ ആകുമ്പോൾ ചിരിച്ചോണ്ട് നടക്കണം. രാത്രിയാകുമ്പോൾ ചിരിച്ചോണ്ട് നടക്കണം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ
അലക്സാണ്ടർ സാറിന് വൈറ്റ് മാസ്കും സോണിക്ക് ബ്ലാക്ക് മാസ്കും. മോഹൻ ബാബു എത്ര നാളായി കണ്ടിട്ട്? ഹലോ.
Yeah, I think sir is Just joining. He's clicking the join audio through internet and coming in.
Okay.
Babu sir, എന്തെങ്കിലും പറയാനുണ്ടോ sir?
ഗംഭീരായിട്ടുണ്ട് കേട്ടോ. കൺഗ്രാജുലേഷൻസ് ടു COC.
താങ്ക് യു.
വളരെ നന്നായിട്ടുണ്ട്. വി ക്യാൻ ഹാവ് സംതിങ് ലൈക്ക് ദിസ്. ഞാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞ പ്രാവശ്യം സോണിയോട് പറഞ്ഞ നെക്സ്റ്റ് ഇയർ ഓൾസോ ഐ വിൽ കം ഫോർ ഓഗസ്റ്റ് ഒപ്താൽമിക്ക എന്ന്. ഇത്തവണ ഇതിൽ ഇരുന്നിട്ട് വേണം. ഓഗസ്റ്റ് ഒപ്താൽമിക്ക ഞാൻ കുറെ കൊല്ലായിട്ട് ആകെ ഐ തിങ്ക് ഐ ഹാവ് മിസ്ഡ് ഓൺലി വൺ.
സർ വെബിനാർ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്തോളൂ. ഓഗസ്റ്റ് 2-ാം തീയതിയാണ്. യു ക്യാൻ ജോയിൻ, ഡിജിറ്റലി ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യാം.
ഇത്തവണ അങ്ങനെ
ഇപ്രാവശ്യം ട്രാവൽ ചെയ്യണ്ടല്ലോ സർ. ട്രാവൽ ചെയ്യാതെ തന്നെ കൂടാൻ പറ്റുമല്ലോ. ഇവിടെ ഇരുന്നിട്ട് തന്നെ. ഓക്കെ സർ.
Anyway, nice to see you all.
Nice to see you too, sir.
സൗണ്ട് എന്ത് പറ്റി?
ഹലോ,
സൗണ്ട്
ചിലപ്പോ അങ്ങനെ ഒന്നുമില്ല, പ്രോബ്ലം ഒന്നുമില്ല. എനിക്കൊന്ന് എന്റെ തൈറോയിഡ് ഡോസ് കുറഞ്ഞോന്ന് സംശയമുണ്ട്. അതാണ് ഞാൻ തൈറോക്സിൻ കഴിക്കുന്നതായിരുന്നു. കുറച്ചിപ്പോ ഒന്നും നോക്കിയില്ല കുറെ. അതായത് സംശയം അതാണോ. ഇപ്പൊ കൊറേ പുറത്തിറങ്ങി ഇവിടെ തന്നെ അങ്ങനെ പോകുന്നു.
രാധാകൃഷ്ണൻ സാർ, എത്ര നാളായി കണ്ടിട്ട്? രാധാകൃഷ്ണൻ സാർ, അൺമ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യേ. ഗോപാൽ, നല്ല പരിപാടി. സീനിയേഴ്സിനെയൊക്കെ ആദരിച്ചതിൽ.
അവരുടെയൊക്കെ ഓരോരുത്തരുടെയും ഓരോ ലൈഫിൽ നിന്ന് we have a lot to learn. There are lots to learn.
അതെ, ഗുരുക്കന്മാരെ വന്ദിക്കുക.
Any success with the audio?
മോഹൻ സാറിന്റെ ഒരിടത്ത് കണക്റ്റിംഗ് എന്ന് കാണിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്, വേറൊരിടത്ത് സാറ് ഓൺ ആണ്. എന്തോ സംഭവം സാറിന്റെ ഓഡിയോ വന്നിട്ടില്ല. സാറിന് നമ്മൾ പറയണ
WC തോമസ് ഏതാണ്?
നമ്മൾ പറയണ കേൾക്കാമോ?
നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നത് സാറിന് കേൾക്കാം.
അപ്പൊ സാർ ലാപ്ടോപ്പിൽ നിന്നാണോ ഫോണിൽ നിന്നാണോ?
അപ്പം ലാപ്ടോപ്പിന് മുമ്പിലായിരിക്കുന്ന സാർ, പക്ഷെ ഫോണിൽ നിന്നാണ്. ആൻഡ് ഫോണില് കണക്ട് ത്രൂ ഇന്റർനെറ്റ് എന്നുള്ളത് ക്ലിക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പറഞ്ഞു. Somehow it is not happening.
Hello.
കേൾക്കാം സർ.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
കേൾക്കാം സർ.
കേൾക്കാമോ?
കേൾക്കാം സർ, കേൾക്കാം.
Okay. I'm so sorry. There is some problem with the internet also here. That's why probably my laptop was not working. Yeah. Anyway. Thank you very much for involving me in this, honoring me, and all that.
Sir, it's not audible, sir.
No, he is talking, but it is not audible.
Yeah, I think the
Is it on
net
the
also
phone?
is net also is very weak.
Sir, if you can stop your video, it will be better. You'll be able to hear you. The internet is weak. If you stop your video, we'll be able to hear you. Shall I stop the video?
Yeah, if you can.
സാർ ലാപ്ടോപ്പിൽ നിന്നാണോ മൊബൈലിൽ നിന്നാണോ സംസാരിക്കുന്നത്?
Gopal sir, I think another call would be needed. He may be talking without knowing.
Yeah. ഗോപാൽ ഒന്നുകൂടി വിളിക്കാവോ? Not hearing, no? Is anybody hearing anything?
No.
Gopal, are you there?
ഒന്നും കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല. Can't hear anything.
ഇല്ല.
There is switching off the video, and let us just try for a second. Then if he is not successful, then he said we can continue the program and he will come another time.
He has joined again.
Yeah, once again he has joined.
Video off ചെയ്തിട്ടൊന്ന് try ചെയ്യട്ടെ, എന്നിട്ട് പറ്റും നല്ല രീതിയിൽ. Thomas Cherian.
Yes.
എന്താണ്, you have something to tell because a lot of your mentors are there, no? Itera sir.
Yeah.
Tony sir.
എല്ലാം പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞല്ലേ?
Just leave, man. It's getting too late. I think probably some other time. Okay.
No, now
it is audible, sir.
It's audible.
Okay. Then I'll cut short, and then when we are in partnership with Christopher Blinded Mission Germany, and they used to give us financial aid for working in our institution, buying equipment, staff salary, and conducting peripheral eye camps and all. So in 1984, there was a big consultation of all the partners in Kerala at Kangara Hospital. And the request to us
Audio is gone again.
Can we make it next time?
Yeah, we can.
Because already 9:45 and the number of people are also slowly coming down.
Yeah. വേറെ ആർക്കെങ്കിലും എന്തെങ്കിലും പറയാനുണ്ടോ ഇതില്? anybody else would like to comment? Or
This is being recorded, Gopal.
yes, sir. This is being recorded.
Okay.
I think we'll wind up, Gopal.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Vote of
I
thanks.
think so. I think so.
Yeah, it was a memorable evening. It was a very memorable evening with all our senior superstar veterans, whom, as I said, they have put about 400 man years in ophthalmology working. I mean, working as doctors. Maybe 350 to 400 man years they have put in between them. And right from Tony sir, who talked about how from scratch he made what it is, and again having to make that again and again, to Radhakrishnan sir, who told us organizational skills and how that would give him the impetus to go to the next one. So each of them, NSD Raju sir, who told us about training and how he tried to mentor the juniors, and whatever advices he gave to our juniors, so that specialization versus despecialization. Lalitha ma'am, who told us about happiness and how to find a right mix of work as well as happiness, work and life balance. And to Narayanangutti sir, who amazes us at even at this time, going for studying new things, which means that age is no bar. I'm very impressed, sir. Like 74 years, 75 years, you're going to study. Next year, I don't know what you will be trying to study. And Itira sir, about the soul searching lecture. And finally, Alexander sir, you are to the point, and really amazing lecture that you gave us, sir. Unfortunately, we were not able to go through Mohan sir.
Mohan sirs, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have one more session. The next level of seniors in the COC.
Yeah.
We'll have, and in that first we'll have Mohan sir and make sure all his audio, everything is correct.
And I thank Varmaji and Sai for conducting this, and all the other seniors in the KSOS as well as in the COC who have joined us. And probably all of our youngsters are also listening to this in YouTube. Probably they do not want to come into Zoom, but many of them must be listening to the pearls of wisdom, the words of wisdom that these learned people are giving. And I thank each and every one of you. And our next stop would be, I think, the Trauma CME by Giridhar Eye Hospital on the 19th. You want to say something about it?
Yeah,
Dr.
that is on the 19th. It's an international webinar with a lot of video presentations on ocular trauma. We have a quiz, we have a best video, we have a best free paper session. It's going to be very, very interesting. And we are following it up with an intravitreal injection course on the 26th, and then following it up with August Ophthalmic on the 2nd, Super Sunday on the 9th, and Neuro-ophthalmology webinar on the 16th. So, these are the programs that are lined up from the Cochin Ophthalmic Club side. I also have to thank Prashobh for, doing a good job. He's our technical person now, very well versed with Zoom and YouTube and Facebook. So thank you, Prashobh, for helping us out with this. And since this is a regular monthly meeting, probably I will say adjourn for dinner.
And all the users also, and all the users.
Yeah. And actually, for the record, me and Gopal were actually planning to get some, gift, some sweets to be delivered to your house while this meeting was going on. Although we can't have dinner together, we thought at least those people inside Cochin town, we had actually tied up with Microvision to get a small box of sweets, and they were also planning to give some masks and sanitizers along with that. But unfortunately, due to the present COVID situation, we didn't want to take a risk of, going to various places and things like that. So we abandoned it. Maybe sometime later we can always plan that. And so all the seniors and all members of COC and all those who watch from outside, a big thank you. And we'll adjourn this meeting for dinner at your own house. And if you have fellowship, that also.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.